In the golden haze of the 1930s Hollywood, before she became America's beloved redhead, Lucille Ball was just another ambitious young starlet clawing her way up the studio system. Radiant, witty, and full of fire, Lucy wasn't just a comedic genius. She was also a woman of deep passion and vulnerability, one whose private affairs rarely matched the laughter she brought on screen. Before Desi Arnaz ever swept her off her feet, whispers swirled through the soundstages and smoky Hollywood lounges that Lucy had a brief romantic entanglement with Henry Fonda, a rising heartthrob at the time. The two were seen dining together on occasion, and while the press chalked it up to friendly studio business, insiders believed the connection was more personal, a fleeting moment between two young actors in search of fame and companionship. But Lucy's heart truly ignited when she met Desi Arnaz, the magnetic Cuban bandleader with a roguish charm and a devilish smile. Their whirlwind romance, beginning in 1940, quickly turned into marriage, one that was passionate, intoxicating, and ultimately tragic. While the world watched them fall in love on I Love Lucy behind closed doors, Desi's notorious affairs and heavy drinking tore at the foundation of their bond. Lucy, though headstrong and fiercely independent, was deeply wounded by the betrayal. She poured herself into her work, building Desilu Productions from the ground up, even as her heart quietly broke from the infidelity. Behind the bright studio lights, Lucy was not without her own rumored affections. Some say she shared an emotionally intense connection with silent film legend Buster Keaton, who mentored her comedic timing during her early days at MGM. While there's no concrete evidence of a physical affair, biographers often noted a quiet intimacy between the two. Late-night strategy meetings, rehearsals that lingered long past the scheduled hours, and a mutual admiration that ran deeper than most professional partnerships. To those who observed them, it was clear Lucy valued Keaton as more than just a teacher. And then there were the more mysterious names. Orson Welles, whose larger-than-life charisma was said to have briefly captivated Lucy before she met Desi, and even Fred MacMurray and Robert Mitchum, whose names would surface in hushed whispers at exclusive parties or on the margins of scandalous tabloid pages. While these connections were never confirmed, the allure of Lucy's off-camera life only deepened the fascination surrounding her. She was a woman of tremendous strength and softness, one who guarded her image fiercely while navigating a world that demanded so much from her. As a star, a wife, a mother, and a mogul. By 1960, after 2 decades of trying to keep her marriage alive, Lucille Ball made the painful decision to divorce Desi Arnaz. It was a heartbreak that shook her to her core. Publicly, she remained poised. The powerhouse behind I Love Lucy, the first woman to run a major Hollywood studio. Privately, she was exhausted from years of betrayal and emotional whiplash. Though she loved Desi deeply, she admitted in interviews that their relationship had simply become too volatile. "It wasn't worth it," she once said, her voice tinged with decades of heartache. After all those years, it just wasn't worth it. Yet those close to her insisted that Desi was the only man she ever truly loved. A year later, Lucille married Gary Morton, a comedian and producer 13 years her junior. Gary brought calm where Desi brought fire. He wasn't as magnetic, nor did he possess Desi's cultural edge or creative genius, but he was present, loyal, steady. For nearly 3 decades, Gary stood beside her, supporting her quietly as Lucy continued to conquer the world. Their bond was one of partnership more than passion, a relationship she built after decades of emotional turbulence. Friends noted that Lucy smiled more in her later years, though her eyes still lit up whenever Desi's name came up. When Desi was dying in 1986, Lucy called him, and those who witnessed the conversation say she wept. "I love you," she told him. "I love you too, honey," he replied. It was their last goodbye. Even in her later years, rumors persisted. Occasional whispers hinted at discreet flirtations during the 1970s, a charming co-star, a younger director. But nothing serious ever emerged. Lucy was deeply protective of her image and had learned the hard way how scandal could overshadow talent. More than romance, she chased purpose, crafting legacy-defining shows, nurturing young talent, and ensuring Desilu Productions remained a monument to her perseverance. But beneath that tough exterior lived a woman who had felt deeply. Despite everything, one truth remained unshakable. Desi Arnaz was the great love of her life. Not even time, fame, or a new marriage could erase that fact. Their love was chaotic, imperfect, and deeply real. In the final act of her life, Lucille Ball was no longer chasing the heat of new affairs or the thrill of rumors. She had lived it all: the glamorous flings, the heart-pounding love stories, the bitter betrayals, and ultimately, the kind of love that, though it didn't last, never really faded. By the time Lucille Ball became a household name, she had already mastered the art of wearing a smile like armor. While America laughed with Lucy Ricardo, few could imagine the personal sorrow and emotional complexity Lucy the woman carried. She had grown up in hardship, her father died when she was just 3 years old, and by age 15, she was modeling to make ends meet. That early loss stayed with her, and many biographers believe it left her with a hunger for love and stability, a hunger she sought to feed through her turbulent romances. Though the world saw Desi Arnaz as the one who strayed, friends and insiders have long hinted that Lucy's loneliness and quiet desire for companionship may have led her into emotional affairs of her own. There was one studio executive, anonymous in most tellings, who was said to be captivated by Lucy's wit and drive during her early Desilu years. Their bond, while never public, was reportedly a source of comfort for Lucy during her most difficult marital years. He was her confidant, her sanity, said one former studio assistant. Whether it ever turned romantic is unknown, but it gave Lucy a brief sense of being seen, not as a character or a wife, but as a woman. She was also fiercely admired by her peers. It's said that Clark Gable once called her the smartest woman in Hollywood. Spencer Tracy, known for his intense charisma and off-screen affairs, was rumored to have held a soft spot for Lucy. While no solid affair was documented, the two reportedly shared a strong, unspoken chemistry during their few shared public appearances. Lucy knew how to attract attention, but more importantly, she knew how to guard herself from it. Fame had taught her that the higher you rise, the more vicious the fall, and she was not about to let anyone drag her name through the mud. Still, her passion could not always be hidden. Even during her marriage to Gary Morton, there were moments when friends noticed Lucy drifting into silence during certain songs or memories of Desi. On set, during the 1974 TV special Lucy Gets Lucky, she worked with younger actors who idolized her, and one was rumored to have become infatuated with her. Lucy was flattered, but never entertained anything inappropriate. She had outgrown the game of temporary passion. What she craved, and rarely received, was someone who understood her fire without trying to dim it. As the years drifted by, Lucille Ball faded from the limelight, but not from the hearts of those who grew up laughing with her. Behind her proud smile and businesslike demeanor, those closest to Lucy saw something that fans rarely did: a quiet ache. A woman who had loved fiercely, lost deeply, and never fully healed from the cracks fame and love had carved into her.